On Tuesday, all 63 candidates being fielded by both the ruling People's National Party PNP and the opposition Jamaica Labour Party JLP were duly nominated at various locations. 26 independent candidates were also nominated as the parties prepare themselves for the February 25 general elections. We begin our nomination coverage in the constituency of St. Andrews South Western, where the incumbent Prime Minister Portia Simpson-Miller was greeted with a hero-like welcome. Our reporter Tanika Thomas visited the constituency and files this report.
Michael Mandy. Michael Mandy. Michael Mandy. Yeah.
And with that said, Mrs. Simpson-Miller was officially nominated as the People's National Party PNP's candidate for the constituency of St. Andrews South Western. Mrs. Simpson-Miller paid her nomination fee of $3,000 at the Greenwich Town All-Age School. Southwestern St. Andrew is pretty much a safe seat for the ruling PNP. It's a seat that has been held by the incumbent, Mrs. Simpson-Miller, since 1976. Mrs. Simpson-Miller will be challenged by the JLP's Victor Hyde at the February 25 general polls. On Tuesday, the party's standard-bearer was treated to a hero-like welcome as she drove into the constituency. Affectionately called Mama P, Mrs. Simpson-Miller has been dubbed by her constituents and supporters as a poor people's ambassador.
A PNP made my daughter couldn't go to university as a poor woman living in the ghetto. PNP is education. Michael Manley are the first man to say the traditional school, nobody in the Boston, everybody are the same thing, and everybody have a right to go anybody have a legal right to go any high school, any traditional high school. PNP is for the poor. PNP are for the poorer class of people. Me believe in that and me know that. PNP for the poor.
We have good TV and good house. PNP give you good toilet, good bathroom.
Yeah. Labor right them are upper class people them. Force us a woman to go up on farm work. Big up farm work straight.
But several civil society groups have decried the state of Mrs. Simpson-Miller's constituency, which has several dilapidated roads, poor sanitation, and high levels of unemployment. However, Mrs. Simpson-Miller defended her stewardship as she spoke with journalists after completing her nomination process.
I have put in place houses for the people in this constituency. Tell them to check the roads in Southwest St. Andrew. Tell them to check the education program of this MP, paying millions of dollars for students to keep them in universities or colleges. So my record is clear.
So you reject the notion that this is not a model constituency?
You think so many people would have turned out there shouting Portia? If I wasn't doing anything that would benefit them and their children? Oh, come on.
She also brushed aside criticisms that enough attention has not been placed on the youths of her constituency.
Community center? I can take you to a community center right now. I can take you to it right now. Very near
Guys,
here.
you're not interrupting it. Can we take it outside so PM is not so clustered?
I'm just saying I can take them to a community center right now.
Yes.
And a confident Simpson-Miller shrugged off a possible loss to the opposition Jamaica Labour Party JLP.
I'm not going to predict the number of seats. All I can tell you, the People's National Party will be returned to power the night of the election when the ballots are counted.
Tanika Thomas reporting for CEEN Caribbean News.
And Mrs. Simpson-Miller says she continues to have the love and support of her constituents of St. Andrews South Western because she's a leader for the people.
Because I am from the people, and I am of the people, and I am for the people. And the fact that I started in this constituency as a young councillor, winning a division that was then the strongest division for the Jamaica Labour Party in the island of Jamaica, and I won it by over 300 votes the night of the elections. The people started to say if she could win that division, then she's the one to win the constituency. And so the people selected me as their candidate to run the elections then. And since 1976 until now, I remained the Member of Parliament for this constituency and enjoy the love and support of my constituents. You would have seen today, despite the heat, the sun, that they were prepared to walk to nomination center to give me that support.
Mrs. Simpson-Miller explains that education is a priority item. She says a huge chunk of her constituency development fund goes towards education.
I've done a lot of work in the constituency, including moving a number of zinc fence and establish proper walls for our people. I have done a lot in terms of education is my priority. And so I assist a number of our students whose parents could not afford to send them to universities. So I pay their fees, and every year I get my constituency allocation, I take that chunk out of it towards education. Because show me a prosperous nation, Norman Mandela had said, and I show you an educated people, or Marcus Garvey. They believed in education. Garvey believed in education in his time. Manley believed in education, and I think.
And leader of the Jamaica Labour Party, Andrew Holness, was also in good spirits. Mr. Holness is also expressing confidence ahead of the February 25 general polls. He says his party is pushing for a change for Jamaicans who have been reeling under tough economic times. Mr. Holness was cheered on by vibrant Labourites as he was duly nominated at the Waltham Educational Centre. He paid his nomination fee using 30 $100 notes bearing the image of former JLP Prime Minister Donald Sangster. Now to one of the seats which will be keenly watched on February 25. In the constituency of East Rural St. Andrew, where two first-time MP hopefuls, JLP First Lady Juliet Holness and Imani Duncan Price, are battling for the marginal seat. The supporters for both candidates painted a picture which may be indicative of what's to come on election day. Candice Ming tells us more.
This was the scene leading all the way to the Gordon Town Community Centre, where first-time Member of Parliament aspirants Juliet Holness, representing the Jamaica Labour Party, and Imani Duncan Price of the People's National Party signed the nomination papers to participate in the general elections for the East Rural St. Andrew constituency on February 25. First up was Mrs. Juliet Holness, who, supported by a sea of green, signed her papers at 10:30 a.m. Speaking with media after her signing, Mrs. Holness expressed confidence at being able to win over the constituency for the Jamaica Labour Party.
I walk on the ground and I have so many orange armbands being given to me and persons saying, give me the prosperity band, give me the prosperity band. So I know every person that I touch, especially if you're a Labourite, if you're undecided, they will be coming out on the 20th to vote for Juliet Holness and the Jamaica Labour Party.
She notes that her confidence is also supported by the fact that the People's National Party only won the East Rural St. Andrew seat in the last general elections by a marginal number. This, she says, sets the stage for a steal by the JLP.
The PMP won this seat by 259 votes. They did very little work in enumerating. They did little work in serving the people of East Rural St. Andrew. People know what they feel. They know what they're experiencing. They understand the terrible bad roads. They understand that they're still carrying water. I lift up a pail helping one lady coming down from Top Road the other day. It was a heavy, wet pail lady coming from river. In this century, nobody in East Rural should be having to carry water miles and miles and miles. They shouldn't have to be living with these dusty, horrible roads. I am sure that many of the young people here have no work. And I can almost tell you more than 70% of our young people need employment. So the PMP has been a disappointment to the people of East Rural, and they are ready for genuine, true leadership that will take them out of this level of poverty, and they are ready, very ready to move into prosperity.
And some of her supporters were also confident in her victory on February 25.
She has to be our MP, of course. After first. No, I'm not with a leader on here. That's all we need.
She a passion about road. She a passion about water. She love the youth them. She love people. She's a people person. And we're willing to work with her 100%. I was sure not to go in by 3,500 votes.
I just expect greatness from her. I expect she should just do everything for the country and just put the country back together again because the country turned over, so I should just turn it up back. Yeah.
Try to do her best for the people, and basically when you do your best, I think that is good enough.
Up next, PNP candidate for the constituency, Imani Duncan Price and Hersey of Orange, rolled into the constituency just about 1:45 for her nomination to be conducted. Speaking with media after the deed was done, Mrs. Duncan Price noted she will win the constituency because of history above all else.
If you look at the history of the seat, you have to look at the long arc of history always, not just a one time. This seat has been won by the People's National Party more times than the JLP. So it tells me, historically, that this is a PNP seat. You have to engage our PNP supporters, unite them and energize them. And today, I see they are energized and they are ready. So I'm very clear. And in addition to that, we have leaders across every division that knows how to run the ground, how to look at the canvas, how to mobilize. And the last 3 months has been a very methodical, deliberate engagement, talking to people heart to heart about what it means to be a comrade, what it means to stand for Jamaica and for our future. And the comrades are not letting this one go for our comrade leader and our Prime Minister, Portia Simpson-Miller.
She says she's not daunted by the challenge of Mrs. Holness, noting that the marginal victory the PNP had in the last election will not be repeated this time around.
Let's just say that we have done our analysis and our work on the ground to ensure that the margin of victory for the PNP will be a good and solid one.
And her supporters within the constituency, including a fellow member of the Senate, shared what they expect from Mrs. Duncan Price should she become their representative in the House of Parliament.
Well, I just expect what our MP should have done.
Yeah, a straight win, man, a straight victory, yeah. 3 months, she has worked, she has united the constituency, she has activated the PNP base, and she has demonstrated that she's ready to lead the charge in East Rural St. Andrew for the PNP and certainly for the people.
And I want to see she win, and I'm not looking at answers, because I have a job already. I want to go on, she do peace and thing, and keep up. PNP going to bank when the day come, when the man don't donkey. And thank you very much.
For CEEN Caribbean News, I'm Candice Ming reporting.
Now, the Jamaica Labour Party has another female political neophyte who is gunning for another seat on the list of marginals. She's Olympian Juliet Cuthbert, who will face off against the PNP's incumbent MP for West Rural St. Andrew, Paul Buchanan, who took back the seat from the JLP's Andrew Gallimore in the 2011 general elections by 237 votes. However, Cuthbert has more than just political glory in mind. The 51-year-old former sprinter, newlywed and mother of a 27-year-old son, has confirmed that she is 3 months pregnant. However, she says that will not be holding her back as she tries to retake the seat for the JLP. Over in the constituency of Northwest St. Catherine, sitting MP, the PNP's Robert Pickersgill, is being challenged by newcomer, retired former Senior Superintendent of Police Newton Amos. Supporters of both candidates turned out in their numbers as both men were nominated in the constituency. At one juncture, the sea of orange and green collided, showing both sides existing in harmonious jubilation. Amos, who is running on the opposition Jamaica Labour Party JLP's ticket, says he is confident of unseating Pickersgill, who has refuted those claims, having won the seat in 2011 by 3,075 votes against the JLP's Sandra Nesbitt. Pickersgill, who is also the PNP's longest-serving chairman, has held the Northwest St. Catherine seat since 1989. We now turn to the political parties to give us their assessment of the events on nomination day. Both the governing People's National Party PNP and the opposition Jamaica Labour Party JLP are reporting that nomination day was free of violence. General Secretary for the People's National Party, Paul Burke, says he received no reports about security issues on Tuesday.
Yes, we are working on a quiet strategy, one that we do not want to speak of, but we certainly have been targeting that group. We hope that we have an effective plan in place, and it has not just been in place recently. We've been working it over the last year, and we have seen slow but positive results.
Burke says the PNP has a secret plan to win over undecided voters.
All right, for the People's National Party, it went extraordinarily well. From all indications, we have heard of no violent acts, and I hope that that report holds true. We have been pleasantly surprised by the crowd, the participation at our nomination, the activities. We are fully satisfied. We are very happy with today.
In the meantime, Deputy Leader for the Jamaica Labour Party Area Council 2, James Robertson, says he's proud to report an incident-free nomination day.
Our plan is to organize. Our plan is to go out and sell our vision to St. Thomas and our mission. Our plan is to explain to the people of St. Thomas that we have connected them by building the Harbour View 4-lane bridge, by building the 2 bridges at 11 miles, by building Yallus Bridge, by building the bridges at Seaforth and at Surge and at Georgie. We are the ones who have made it possible for there to be a highway from Kingston to Port Antonio, first leg stopping in Morant Bay. We are the people who, under Bruce Golding and Andrew Holness, put the money in place to build a road from Morant Bay to Cedar Valley and the bridge at Mahogany Vale to at Hagley's Gap area into the upper region of the Yallus River. What took place in Montego Bay is an assault on democracy. It's a disrespect to what our forefathers, our national heroes fought for. What we stand for in St. Thomas and what we know is required now to build St. Thomas is unity and a sense of purpose.
Mr. Robertson also had this to say.
We have gone out there. You should have seen what took place in Yallus. The PNP came over in their droves to join us, to dance with us, to dance to our music, and to be a part of our spirit. Yallus was a carnival scene today. People were up in spirits, out in their thousands, and I am very, very happy to see the support that came out from Cedar Valley, Trinityville, Seaforth, White Horses, Yallus proper, and the Landaway greater area, which includes Ramble, Landaway down to Albion, and the area called Review Pen, all the way up to Poor Man's Corner. It was very, very good. Poor Man's Corner is where we have built the Yallus Bridge. I must tell you, the people understand. 26 years in their lives, the last 22 of it is People's National Party.
We now hear from the Director of Elections, Orit Fisher. He says the day's activities went very well.
We did not have any incidents within our counting centers. We just had reports of one slight skirmish at St. Catherine Central outside the polling station, but that is outside the nomination center, I should have been saying. But that is something that the police will have to speak to, because we were not in any way involved, nor were we affected. In terms of nomination, 152 candidates were nominated. 63 from the People's National Party, with 50 male and 13 female. 63 also from the Jamaica Labour Party, which is 52 males and 11 females. And then from the others, it's a total of 26, making up the 152. And there are only 2 additional females in that 26, which would mean 24 for the male. And we are talking about the NDM, Marcus Garvey People Political Party, the People's Progressive Party, and Hope. And then independents overall was 10.
Mr. Fisher adds that despite the short notice, the Electoral Commission of Jamaica will be ready for the February 25 general elections.
In terms of the campaign period, we have to just work with exactly what time we were given. It's just that the period between nomination and election day, it speaks to a minimum of 16 and a maximum of 23, and we were given the minimum, which is the Prime Minister's right, and therefore we will just have to do what we have to do. But it does make the schedule very, very tight in looking at the police military election be voting on the 22nd, so we have to turn our attention to that. We are going to be looking to start printing ballots as soon as we are able to sort through the nomination forms and print the sample ballots, check them against the nomination forms to make sure there are no errors, because they have to correspond with exactly what is on the nomination form. And once we have done that, we print the ballots, and then we have to sort for the police military election their workers vote. And we also have to disaggregate the list in the same way, because people who vote in what we call the special services vote on the 22nd, their names will not appear on the list that will be used in the polling station on the 25th. So it's just a lot to be done within a short time.
And following Sunday's shooting incident at the Jamaica Labour Party's rally in Montego Bay, St. James, Police Commissioner Dr. Carl Williams says the suggestion to ban all rallies will not be taken on board at this time, particularly since the incident which resulted in the death of 3 persons wasn't politically motivated. He says, however, that an assessment will be done of all requests for permits to hold political public rallies before permission is granted. Meanwhile, the police have identified another of the 3 persons who were killed at the JLP rally in St. James on Sunday. He's known only by his alias Chow and is from the Goat Pen area in Flanker, St. James. He's alleged to also be a gang member in the community. The first victim, 22-year-old Javin Campbell, is also reported to be a gang member in Flanker. The JLP has denied that there was an altercation and has insisted that the shooting was gang-related. Meanwhile, it was business as usual as schools remained open on nomination day on Tuesday. However, the Ministry of Education has advised that all schools will be closed on Election Day, February 25. On the eve of the general election, schools will be closed at noon to facilitate preparations for Election Day activities, as some schools will be used as polling stations. The Education Ministry says in the case of schools that will be used as polling stations, principals are being asked to ensure that rooms and bathroom facilities assigned to the Electoral Office are cleared, cleaned, and all charts as well as teaching aids removed. Schools will reopen the following day, February 26.